Here we are at French Ranch in California doing a flight test with Kitty Hawk Aviation. Any job that I've had in the Air Force usually needs of the Air Force or the driver. And in this case, it was that service acquisition executive of the Air Force that said, we think there's a need for this. I'm Colonel Nathan Diller, the director of AFWERX and the Agility Prime program. So Agility Prime is the Air Force's flying car program. We really look at it as the Air Force's opportunity to bring together a partnership between commercial and the Department of Defense, bringing forward new approaches to air power and acquisitions for our Department of the Air Force.
I'm Major John Tekell, and what we're working with is what you can see behind me, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Some very new, unique technologies that we get to work with, and a revolution in aerospace. So we've seen some great advances in autonomy, some great advances in additive manufacturing, and some great advances in electric, in batteries.
We launched Agility Prime in April of 2020. At the time, there were questions. Many of these are really exciting Silicon Valley startups, social media giants that said, we want to go look at aerospace. It's an interesting time, really, in the history of aviation. Over the course of the year, we now have over 200 companies involved in subcomponents. We have over 20 companies involved actually participating in our air race to certification.
I've seen most of the companies that have responded to our initial capability offering, where we had a request for information, where we had an opportunity for them to show us what they have on paper.
These are new aircraft that have never really been flown before. From an entirely new propulsion perspective, that's a massive hurdle from understanding airworthiness. In December, we had our first company that got through the first airworthiness, and now just over a couple weeks, we've had our third company that has gotten through the Air Force airworthiness process. Phenomenal talent in the Air Force Material Command, at the Air Force Research Laboratory, that has come up with innovative ways to make sure we're maintaining a very high standard on safety and security, but at the same time moving at a speed really that's been unprecedented, and I think having a strategic impact. The first manned electric aircraft being through this airworthiness process by the United States Air Force.
Very near future, our program is looking for initial operational capability by 2023. So the companies are working very fast to capture a large market share.
There was a high level of skepticism across a broad group. But when you kind of look at these different technologies that have come together, and you look at the energy that's happening, and what we see, we've had just over the last few months, one of the aviation companies moved from what they thought was a 2,000 cycle battery to a 10,000 cycle battery. That radically changes the operations and maintenance. And so the thing that's exciting is to be able to come out and see companies that are flying today, to see American entrepreneurs building today. That energy, I think, was communicated to us and gave us a level of optimism, and we're just excited to see this now start to come to fruition, as we're seeing so many of our now partner companies actually going from what were PowerPoints to bench testing to now full-scale flight operations.
Kind of unique. A lot of these aircraft are looking for that autonomy piece. So getting rid of the pilot, getting rid of the flight test engineer, replacing everything with R2-D2, and moving into the future.
If there is an opportunity to create agility for our airmen, we need to be a part of that in a way that supports the safety of our nation, the security of our nation, and ideally the prosperity of our nation.